as you look at the film, look at the game film, there are a handful of positive things, small handful of positive things. I think there were times where we did some good stuff, on offense. We did a few good things on defense. We had a couple of, turnovers and had a chance at another one. And I think we did a couple of good things. We had a good kickoff return that went for about 50 yards, but we gave up a punt return that probably went for about 50. So, trade-offs there. The score just got out of hand, and 25, 30 points as we kind of get through the middle of the game, I think would have been about right. To let the score get away like it did was extremely frustrating and disappointing, because we're not that team's not 60 points better than us. Mount Nelson's always a tough team, and especially at home. They play well, and they're searching for a win, and they've had a couple of good battles against St. FX and St. Mary's, and had a challenge this past week against Laval, but played well. They had some spurts within that game where they shut Laval down offensively, and then their offense did some things where they moved the ball. They're good on special teams, very good on special teams, and I expect them to continue to be good on special teams and be aggressive and do the things that they always do, try to block kicks and get big returns. And it's going to be a challenge. There's no doubt about it. And the weather report calls for rain, so it's going to be an interesting ball game for sure. Yeah, Mount Nelson does a really good job of competing. They compete on all three phases of the game. They don't ever say die, and they believe in their program. They believe in what they do, for better or worse. They have good special teams. Their returners are good. They got quick little scat back in Reed. Idaho York is an athletic, talented kid. When he gets the football, there's a lot of good things happen in the return game. Ambersley, number 18, is a very good little back. When he gets the ball, it causes problems. They do a nice job of using their athletes offensively and on specials. Defensively, the challenge is being able to pick up all the different blitzes and stunts and games that they throw at you. A lot of it's smoke and mirrors, but a lot of it they bring pressure and cause problems. So. The challenges are to be able to react and adjust to what they're bringing at you, and be able to withstand some of the tide, because they will make some big plays based on the athletes that they have and the chances that they take on defense and on specials. I haven't seen a lot of significant changes between last year's coaching and this year's coaching. I mean, Coach Jeffrey obviously with a lot more experience than the new coach, and a lot of the tendencies that they had are similar, but it's a little too early to tell if the significant changes or differences in what they do. They have a new quarterback. They have a couple of new offensive linemen. They have a couple of new players on defense, on the defensive line, at the linebacking core. So there's some different players as far as their schemes and what they're doing. Very similar in a lot of ways to what they've done in the past, and the success that they've had over the last 3 or 4 years is being carried forward with what they do. They've added some stands at their stadium, and their stadium is starting to really become a stadium. So good on them. But as far as what they do out on the field and how they play, looks very similar to what they've done in the past. But I'll have to get there to see it before I can answer that question fully.